Don't need no crashes on my launch pad. Don't need no coffee for my cream, no, none for me. Don't need no harshes on my head buzz. Sometimes the things that happen make me wanna scream. And I know I got a lot to learn. Welcome aboard, folks who have a lot to learn, like me. Don't need no people asking questions. Don't have their own advice, it always sets me straight. Don't want no extra information. I keep my head all in the sand, that's best for me. And I know I got a lot to learn. I hope you're having a stunningly good day, week, time of it. Welcome into our special live celebration. Na 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 na. Don't need no crashes on my launch pad. Don't need no coffee for my cream, no, I'm quite okay. Don't need no harshes on that head buzz. Sometimes I feel so chill it makes me wanna scream. And I know and I know and I know and I know I got a lot to learn, baby. Was true then, is true now, and will be true for the rest of time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome into Studio Live today. A very special edition, because today we're getting a little bit reminiscing about the days of old, because if you can believe it, the first Studio Live Today video was released in February of 2016. I know it seems like just yesterday, but trust me, it's been a while, as the band Stained would say. G'day, welcome on board, welcome in. We'll say g'day to everyone who is here live in just a jiffy. G'day, Rockin' Pneumonia. Thank you, my friend, for the kind donation. If you'd like to donate and be as cool as Rockin' Pneumonia, you're welcome to do so. Just drop a super chat, or you can use the PayPal as another way to donate. G'day to Tremor Bear. Hello to Allegra. Hello, Joe, Glenn, and Barry's hanging out there, I'm sure. G'day to Hari Maya. Stephen Hewitt's here, throwing the thirsty camels and the bears and all the other emojis because they're a member. You can be a member too if you'd like to go ahead and do that. G'day to Mark Bro. Hello to our wonderful moderator, Mr. Thomas Christ. I am singing. I know that was my 2024 Songtember song. We'll talk a little bit more about Songtember in a jiffy, because that's definitely going to be part of the kind of history, the going back in time we'll be talking about. G'day to Michael Thompson. Hello, Eric B. G'day to you. If I've missed you, doesn't mean I don't love you. G'day to Gary Hubbs, who snuck in early and said g'day. So thank you all for hanging out. Now, what's today going to be all about? I'm going to be sharing a few things with you. I'm going to tell the origin story of Studio Live today, but I'm going to do it in like because you know what, it's the YouTube, it's the internet. I'm going to do like a top 10 kind of thing because people like lists of things. So I've got I was going to do 10 things I've learnt over the 9 years, and then I realized I'm going to split it into 5 things that I wanted to do that I was able to do, the reasons that I sort of started this. And then I'm going to talk about 5 things that I want to do in the future. And we're also going to go back and do a bit of a time capsule of 2016 through to 2024 and give a little shout out and honor the people that have helped along the way because there's many of you, and I'm going to forget some. Can we say right up front that I'm going to forget someone super important that's going to be really angry at me? And the reason I put 9 years for Studio Live today and 46 years for me on the thumbnail is that I'd like you to keep that in mind with everything that goes on here. Because I'm going to have forgotten something. I was going through and I was listing out all the things, and I didn't have Song Timbre on the list. Like, of all the things I've done around here, of all the things I'm known for, I also didn't have digging lint out of your phone jack with a toothpick. So that is something that many people know me for as well. Thank you to the wonderful Thomas Christ. Definitely, it's funny. Thomas and I kind of over the years have sent donations and bought each other's albums and merchandise and things. And yeah, look, it's a way. I'm gonna keep doing it. We could just say, "Hey, bro, we just support each other. We don't need to do it," but I appreciate it big time. So thank you so much for the donation, Thomas Christ, and go check out Thomas Christ's new album, because it's just bloody awesome. Like, I love all of Thomas's stuff. I love The Creator. I loved Virus Infect. It was my favorite album for a long time. But this new one is just stellar. Thank you to Eric B for the £4.99. Appreciate you, my friend. And Mark Bro, there you go. Here since 2019, 2018, around that. Yeah, Mark, you've been here for a vast majority of the time as well, and I thank you. I thank all of you folks that have been here for a long time. G'day, stay tuned. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. And Mike and Dawn Janice, I saw you sneak in there. Hope you're doing well there. Funnily enough, I usually do these streams just to YouTube. I threw like Facebook and Twitch and Twitter in there, and Twitter came back and bounced back at me and says, "You need a premium X account to do." I'm like, "That's right, you suck now." I forgot. I'm like, why not? £9 from Christ. Well, yes. Well, nine American dollar bucks, which is good because our dollar's not worth much at the moment. So that's actually a good thing. When it's weird, it's kind of a catch-22 because when our Australian dollar's weak, I get paid in US dollars and I get paid more Australian dollars. But then a lot of the stuff I buy is from the US, and therefore I pay for it in my conversion. So regardless of which way the conversion goes, it always ends up badly. Yeah, I've X'd out X for some time now. I'm going to try Blue Sky though. Anyone on Blue Sky? Anyone got any Blue Sky recommendations for me? Because apparently that's a little bit of a nicer community, a little bit more in line with me. Try the South African rand, dismal. Yeah, look, I know there's some currencies that aren't super great around the world at the moment. I definitely hear. We've got a bunch of stuff here that we're going to be talking about, and for those that don't know the story, 9 years ago, actually 10 years ago, because it was 2015 that I registered StudioLiveToday.com. I was sitting at the cricket, and funnily enough, I'm going to the cricket tomorrow with my wife for my birthday celebration, because yes, it is my birthday tomorrow as well, turning 46. Thanks for asking. And I'm going to the cricket tomorrow. But I was sitting at the cricket, sitting in the outer, and I was thinking to myself, I want to make a website, and I want to make it about recording, because I was just getting back into home recording and home studio stuff again. And I'm like, I just kept thinking of words. I'm like, all the two-word things are taken. I tried Studio Live, I tried Studio Today, I tried Home Studio, Home Recording, Recording Live, Recording Today. And then I'm like, Studio Live Today. And I'm like, I can picture it, I can imagine it, like with a logo, with like three. I like the rule of three things. So Studio Live Today. It's a website that people will be able to remember. If you say Studio Live Today, there's only one way to spell it. There's only one way to write it. It's pretty easy words. Nothing there that's going to trip people up. It's sort of crossover because it's not hard English words to spell and to say. So I went studiolivetoday.com. Is it available? Hover.com. Register it. Yep. And it sat there. So I guess you could say Studio Live Today is nearly 10 years old, but I didn't do anything with it until I picked up my first, well, not my first iPhone, it was about my third iPhone, but until I was dabbling around in other DAWs. Cakewalk Music Creator was the first one, and then Reaper. And I'm like, these things are just complicated. And at the time, I had an iPhone 5 and an iPhone 4S. And I'm like, oh, these have this GarageBand thing. I've never been able to work out how to do more than 8 bars in GarageBand. I wonder if I can figure it out. YouTube, show me, how do we figure it out? And it didn't tell me much. There was this guy called Patrick, this weird Scottish guy that was doing GarageBand stuff, but it was mostly on the Mac, and no one else was really covering it. I'm like, this is baffling. And then I realized that it's on the iPad as well. And I'm like, this is this app that's on the iPhone, on the iPad. It comes free with every like at that stage it had just gone from a paid app to a free app. I actually bought it originally for 7.99. Yep, I was one of those. So I went to a free app. So every single person in the world that was getting a new iPhone or iPad had this app, and no one was making in-depth tutorial videos about it. So I'm like, right, I'm going to read the manual and I'm going to work out how to do all this stuff. And then I'm like, well, I should share this because no one else is doing it. So started sharing videos, and the rest, as they say, is history. So we'll go through the history of what happened between 2016 and 2025 as we go on. Thank you again to Mike and Dawn Ginnies. Appreciate you. 9 years. Woot, 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 woot. +2. Thank you. Thank you for the 5 + 2. I appreciate it greatly. And thank you to who did I see there? Oh, yeah, it was Gary Hubbs. Gazza's been a member for a while now. I appreciate you as well. Thank you. Thank you for the kindness. Again, I'm going to the cricket tomorrow. And if you've been to a stadium lately and bought anything like bottle of Coke, I went the other day and I bought a bottle of Coke. So I'm like, I can't afford to drink because a beer is $15.50. Like legitimately $15 for a beer. And I'm like, I'll just get a Coke. $7.50 for a bottle of Coke. And I'm like, I mean, I'll get a beer next time because it's only twice as much. So yeah, BYO. But thank you for the donations. They will help out when I go tomorrow to buy me a bottle of Coke and a bucket of hot chips. +2 = 9. Thank you. Mike and Dawn were doing the slow roll over there. Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous. But hey, I know my friends in the US are like, $15, Johns. We paid $28 and you have to line up for the entire break between play, and yeah. Not fun. Not fun at all. But anyway, hello to Ed Z. Ed Z is someone who's definitely been around the traps, around the channel for a while. Appreciate you. Inner Space has been here for 7 of those years. Awesome stuff. And that's the thing. We've got a lot of folks who have been around here for a long time. And some folks have left us through various means, and they've outgrown the garage band, or they've moved on from music, or they've moved into other communities, and that's totally cool. And we've had other people that have come on to the community, which is really, really cool. And we've had folks that left and then came back again, which is equally cool. Thank you. Yes, I'm starting the birthday weekend early. It's Friday morning here in Australia. Hello to you, Les Koroks. I hope you are doing well, my friend. And who else did I see who's come here? Mr. Doug Kidder. Doug Kidder is related to someone who I'll be talking about in a jiffy as well. Hello, thank you, Fusion Core. Appreciate you. So what happened? Why did I start doing all this stuff? Well, it's the fault of a couple of blokes. One of them I've had the pleasure of having on the channel a couple of times. One I've communicated with. I've never actually spoken to or met or had on the channel, which is a shame. And maybe one day we can rectify that. But there's a couple of folks, and I wanted to shout out to Mr. Lid Shaw, Recording Studio Rockstars. So this was like my gateway drug. I saw Lidge and I saw him interviewing folks, and I saw that he was talking about home recording, and he called his community rock stars, and he was just doing a great job. And I'm like, look, he's a professional and he knows what he's doing, but I reckon I can do something similar, but at a smaller scale, because he was covering like Pro Tools and using really expensive gear, and I'm like, there's got to be a cheaper version of that. And the cheaper version of that I found was this bloke, Joe Gilder. We're looking more and more like each other. Hang on, let me do my Joe Gilder. Don't you reckon? I've been called the Australian Joe Gilder. No, I haven't. I never have. But I learned a lot from Joe. I learned a lot about creating videos and about what you needed to do to communicate effectively to people and to communicate ideas. And really, he talked about not fixing it in the mix, getting it right at the source. A lot of other things. Him and Graham Cochran had a podcast for the longest time, which was really cool. And I just again learnt that, because I thought coming in that you had to be like a professional. You had to know what you're doing and know everything about everything. And what I kind of learnt as I went along is no, like with teaching, with education, you really don't. You need to know enough. You need to be able to communicate effectively, but in a simple way that everyone's going to be able to understand. In fact, I've said this a bunch of times, but sometimes the people that are best at things are not the best teachers. And I've always thought of myself as more of the coach, the person that's going to help people rise to the top. Even in my corporate life, I did more of that. Like the number of people that came into my team that I helped them develop their skills and their confidence. And then I went, see ya, as they went away. And it's actually quite nice because you have people higher up that then look out for you in the future. So I think that, yeah, having someone who can actually be more of a coach and more of a mentor and someone who's there in the trenches with you. And it's why to this very day, yes, I've got better gear now, but I'm never going to upgrade my gear. I don't want the shiny studio with all the bits and all the hardware because folks out there that are creating, you're using your iPhones and your iPads, you're using single and double channel audio interfaces, you're using your Lightning to USB 3 adapter, you're using M Audio key stations, $100 MIDI keyboards. If I just suddenly start going, oh, now I've got a Pro Tools rig and I got a really fancy computer and I got big giant monitor speakers and I've got this I don't think it would be the same. And hey, I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that. If you get to that point and you want to keep going, more power to you. But for me, I wanted to make sure that I kept myself grounded and kept doing things that were going to help people coming in. And if that means that some people move on past me and go on to other communities, then so be it. Like that's just the way it rolls sometimes. Thank you, Link Slinger Thomas Christ. I had every intention of of sending you the links that I was going to put in here before the show. So I apologize for that. Thomas has been a long-serving, long-standing tolerator of my lack of organization. So I appreciate Thomas. Thank you. Thank you, Les. I appreciate you, my friend. Les Korax? Korox. Les Korox. Not Koroi. Koroi? Koa? Les Goa? It almost looks French, doesn't it? Les Korox. Gotcha. See, that's good. I like it phonetically. Still use GB on occasion. Currently using LMS and Novation. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the stuff we talk about here as well is very universal. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's got to be GarageBand. If John's only knows GarageBand, he's only going to talk about GarageBand. But I looked back on the videos over the years, and yes, there's stuff that's like, here's how to press this button in GarageBand. But then there's other stuff that's very much different to that. So, thank you, Mark. Yes, if you'd like to hit like, I would like that a lot. Jade Starr is here. Thank you, Jade, for all of your support over the years. Appreciate you big time. So that was 2016. Then in 2017, I don't like having to say this, but Facebook gave me the kick in the butt that I needed to keep doing this channel. So in 2016, I actually only put out about 10 videos. And then there was a hiatus of about 9 months. And then it was in 2017 when I started actually creating more music. So originally I was just sort of sharing a little bit about some apps that I was using as I was learning. And then in 2017, when I was recording my first EP called Recoil, which some of you may recall, little 4-track EP that I recorded on my iPhone 6S and iPad Air 2, I started documenting the process. And I kind of got into the idea of sharing and sharing the process. So I shared the complete process of recording this EP, the songwriting, the recording, and folk liked it. And folks started doing it of their own accord. And then I was like, where can I share where can I chat about this sort of stuff with people? And it was Facebook. I know it was Facebook that came to the rescue. And in particular, because I was doing a lot of GarageBand stuff, it was this channel here. It had about 700 members in 2017, and there were some folks around there at the time, a folk by the name of Steve out of Nebraska, Steve Mara. The guy that made this channel, this group on Facebook, was called Agil Shatri, which many folks don't know. Agil's kind of been the silent partner of this group for many years, for almost a decade now. And I joined this group, and I suddenly realized that there were a whole bunch of like-minded people. There were a whole bunch of other weekend warriors like Pete Johns that were working full-time jobs that wanted to learn how to create and record and release music. So it kind of gave me the kick in the pants that I needed. I chatted with the folks there. I was made a moderator by Gil and by Steve, which was nice. And the group of folks there, early on and to this very day, we're talking Ron Ward, Jude Capana, Brian Bigler, Condi Eckerly, James Orrell more recently, as well as Matthew and John Orrell. Orrell or Orel? That's the thing. When you only know people by their written names, it can be hard to remember. So yeah, it gave me that push to go kind of to the next level, and I started making more and more GarageBand tutorials. Started doing my full processes. Did a song in a month challenge where I made a song called "For the Birds" that some of you may recall from back then, and realized that people were getting behind this whole song in a month thing, and people were doing it themselves. I'd get emails and I'd get messages on the Facebook group saying, "Oh, thanks for your tutorials, Johns. I made my own. I followed you. I did a song in a month too, and here it is." And I was like, huh, I'll file that away for a year or two, and maybe we'll do something with that. And maybe that could be something we could do around the channel. And we did. There it is. There's the GarageBand users Facebook group. And look, do I love that it's a meta property that gave me the push and that helped me meet a whole bunch of wonderful folks? No, but you know what? It is what it is. Hello, all kinds of craft. Thank you. It is what it is, and I've always said to people, don't don't. It's hard because I left X. We said that at the start of the show. I left X because I didn't want to be part of a toxic community. And the thing about Facebook is, though, you can find and this is why so many people are still on X, is that they have their own little community, their own little subculture in there. And if you curate it and if you set your privacy settings right, you don't have to engage. You don't need Auntie Beryl to be able to see your post. You don't have to watch Uncle Roger's. Actually, no, I have a Roger. Uncle Bill's weird rants about politics. You can just block all of them. Just create a separate account and use it to join music groups. And I know many folks have done that. Hello, Zoniz. I hope you are doing well. You had a question? Do you have a video on sampling on iPad for Logic Pro? I probably do. And the reason I say I probably do is that sometimes I don't remember. I have over 3,000 videos on the channel. So Pete Johns Logic Pro sampler is what you'd want to type in. And yeah, I do. So I've got a few videos on that. So I've got the new sample folders. I've got how to record in the sampler because there's a new mode there. I cover it in my overall video as well. So yeah, basically, if you use YouTube, that's my external brain. And that has that has everything that I have ever done, which is, again, like I say, over 3,000 videos. I think it's 3,500 now at last check. And yeah, it's been pretty good. Yes, thanks to me, your ports are clean. Yeah, like I'm not even going to talk about that. But if you're wondering why I keep mentioning weird things like cleaning your headphone jack, my most viewed video that has over 2 million views is how to clean your headphone jack with a toothpick. True story. To the point where it's been copied by so many people now that it doesn't get many views because everyone's made their version of the cleaning with a toothpick thing. 2018. So 2018 kicked around and I did a few things. I created an album. And I continued on after the EP, and I recorded and covered the whole process of recording the album right here on the channel. So in 2018, you can go back and you can find all of those album recording videos and put out my very first album called Selfish Aware, which was quite a milestone. Still the only album I've ever released, full-length album that I've ever released. And, I do cringe when I listen to some of those tracks now, but it was an experience. And being able to share the experience online was really cool, and it motivated me. It gave me what I called positive time pressure at the time, which was what I needed. Again. I'm the sort of person that needs a little bit of a kick in the pants. I can motivate myself, but more often than not, I help out. It helps me out to have folks kind of keeping me accountable. Thomas Christ says the album production vids were what brought me here. Very cool. Well, yeah, maybe we'll need to talk about that in a moment. Bonsoir, Sylvie. Ça va? Yeah. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you, my friend. And if anyone does, the toothpick trick. If anyone does have any other questions or anything as we go through, feel free to ask. As you're probably recognizing, it's pretty free flowing kind of show here today. We will pause in just a bit. What are we at? Yeah, so about the half hour mark, we'll pause and I'm going to play you a video. And then I'm going to talk about something that I did right around this time, sort of coinciding with that album release. Yes, you can do the same with a USB-C. And look, that's people said you should make a new one, and I'm like, it would be the exact video, but it would be a USB-C as opposed to a Lightning port. But maybe I need to do that. I looked up if anyone made an album exclusively GarageBand and found Pete. Yeah, and that's it. And there's not too many. Again, I'm surprised. There's not too many people that have shared that sort of stuff even to this day. So we're in 2018. Around that time, I met a few cool people that have had a big impact on me and on the channel. I started live streaming too, which if you look in the description of this, I don't have a heap of clips to play for you, but I've left you some little nuggets, some gems down in the description of some older shows. And I started live streaming, and the first person that I regular live streamed with, well, actually, the first person I did regular live streams was actually over on the Facebook group, and it was with Steve Mara. We did GarageBand Users Weekly, and we did it on like a Sunday night and a Monday morning. It was on Facebook Live. It was on our phones. It was good. It was fine. It was great. Yeah, the first time I did a YouTube live stream with another YouTuber, this funny bloke, this English bloke who claimed that he lived in Australia called Mike Enjo, had this thing called Creative Source, and he was starting to share videos about Cakewalk by BandLab of all things. And I'm like, we share something in common here, Mike Enjo of Creative Source. You're sharing videos trying to help people that are getting started in recording on their PC, and I'm doing the exact same thing for folks on their iPhone and iPad. So we got together and we started actually doing some shows, some live streams together. And I have a little. Do I have the clip here? I think I've lost it. In the description, there is a clip of one of those live streams that we did together. And weirdly, I didn't remember this at the time, but the name of the shows that I did originally was called The Feedback Loop. And then we did one called Creative Studio Live, which was a show that Mike and I did together. And Doug Kidder saying he missed those shows. It sort of turned into shows that we would do on each other's channels on alternate weeks. And then it turned into Mike's show that everyone loved and still misses called Fix My Mix, which he refuses to do, despite the fact that myself, Doug, and everyone else are demanding that he does it. So yeah, go check out Mike. Give him a shout. And this is an example and look, I'm not saying that I was Mike's mentor, but he definitely reached out early on and said, "Hey, you're already doing this. Got any tips?" And I shared absolutely everything I possibly could, everything I knew. I dumped my brain on Mike, and now he's doing very, very well. His videos get more views than mine. He's got more subscribers than me. You could say, if you look at it, you're like, oh, Mike's more successful. I'm like, yeah, and that's good. Because if I had any part of helping him do that, that's a good thing. High tide raises all ships. That's the way it should be. So even though you can say, oh, you're in a competitive space, aren't you? You're competing with all these other YouTubers, sort of. But the thing is, even people that are doing the exact same thing that I do, they don't do it. They don't do it in the same way. Excuse me. As I'm getting older, I can't speak. I can't rant for as long without having weird coughing fits. Matt Howells, happy 9 years. Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here and for hanging out here. Thomas said I watched those shows, Pete, with Mike on replay because they were early. Yeah, so that's the thing. They were Thursday nights, so they were like very early Thursday mornings for US folks. Yeah, hopefully we're gonna. That's the thing. The good thing, like people are like nostalgia, man. Is nostalgia really worth it? And look, I would say, look, it's not that it's not worth it, but what nostalgia does is it makes you remember when you go back in time. It's not going back to make things good again, right? It's to look at what you did and realize that maybe there's some things you did that you stopped doing that maybe you should have kept going with, or that you can re-explore. Or there were things that you looked at and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. So I look at some of the early videos and like the very first live, this is jumping ahead a bit, but the very first live stream I did, I look at this and it was on my phone. You can see I'm using headphones there. Everything's backwards because that's the way it worked. It mirrored, it flipped your video over. and still got that hat. Still wear that hat from time to time. But yeah, it was a different time back in those days. Where were we at? So yeah, it's been a great time, and we're around 2018 into 2019, and we'll come back and talk about kind of the next step in the journey in just a moment. Now, I do thank everyone for your kind donations. Thank you to everyone for being a patron. Thank you to everyone who has donated to the channel. I appreciate you greatly. All the people that are members, you're all awesome. What I've learned over time, though, is that you also do have to embrace. You know how I talked about Meta before? Yeah, guess what? YouTube, Google, Alphabet are also my employer, and they like me to press this button that delivers an ad, which I'm going to do right now. So the ad will be playing. Hopefully, it's a good one. I do try to curate them a little bit. Like, it's hard. I don't get to control what's on there, but I have removed a couple of categories. Like, I don't want any of the sort of scammy, grifty stuff on there. But you're probably learning about why you need some new AI tool right now, and you need to pay money for it. No, I don't know. We'll do that again. I mentioned it the other day that one day we should do a oh, I'm going into all sorts of weird places here now. That one day we should again do the old let's watch some videos and see what ads we get, because it's quite funny. It's good to do it on SoundCloud too, as you would have seen in recent times. We had the Thirsty Camel, we've had Lotto Cat. Watch Your Music Live if you want to know what that's all about. So around this time, I started dabbling in music video production. So originally, I was not really doing video stuff. I was doing audio, I was recording music, and I was writing songs, and I was recording the process of writing the songs. But as a result of that, I learned a little bit about video production. I was using Premiere Pro back then, as opposed to LumaFusion that I use now, and I put together a music video that I thought I would show you here. We'll play it, and then many of you have seen this before. If you haven't seen it before, though, it's a little cringe these days, but it's a good song. I like the song, and it was a fun concept to help me learn some of the video production skills that I use to this very day. And then I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes, because I found the original raw footage of me recording these. So we'll have a little look at that afterwards. But this is my song called Anxiety, and this was from the 2018 album Selfish Aware. You say the time for hope is gone, and there is nothing left to comfort in the end. And you say, even when you're feeling good, that something else will come around the bend. And I'm always thinking, always trying to hold on. And I always fear that something else will go wrong. It's wrong. You say, even when there's good things happening, the party will be at an end real soon. And you say you might be happy now, but I've a million ways to open up the wound. And I'm always hurting, always trying to hang on. And it's hard to see this feeling might be wrong, and it might be in my head, but my heart is racing and I'm scared. And I take a breath and try to see you're not real. just anxiety. You say you never get away from me, you might as well just settle in and deal. And you say you're stuck with me forever, this will always be the way you're gonna feel. But I don't believe you, I can still carry on. And I realize now this feeling is just wrong, and I know it's in my head, and my heart is stronger, I'm not scared, and I take a breath and know it's me. I'm not you, you are just anxiety. Oh, the days, my whole heart. Walk right out the door, walk right out the door, walk right out the door, walk right out the door. And then Fading Johns. And I'll explain a little bit about that now. Yes, I do still have those couches. Someone was asking there. I'll give you a little bit of a look at the raw footage in a moment because it's a bit fun. I hadn't watched it since I did the very first one. Some questions and some comments. How long does it? Yeah. So the YouTube monetization algorithm is really, there's things that are called monetized views, and that means that they don't give us all the information. But if you get an ad served up and you interact with it, which means you don't skip it immediately, or you let it run, or you click a link, that's considered a monetized view. If you don't, it's not. So, yeah, there's that. G'day, Al Davis, who I didn't say g'day to before. Thank you, Jade. Yeah, look, I like to think that I'm the gateway drug, but a good drug. I'm not a bad drug. I'm a miracle drug. Did he just call himself a miracle? No. G'day, Robert Latzer. Good to see you here. Andy Pender. I did forget to answer your last question, did I? I don't know. I didn't see it. Sorry. That would be a good place to have put the question again. Sorry. So, yeah, still have the couches. The lounge room looks very similar. I should probably do a 2025 remix of that, like 7 years later. Yes, I did have to pay. I had to pay the other Pete's a lot to get them to rock up and do that. Hello, Semtex Cal. Hello, Roque. We've got some other wonderful folks. Yeah, one was a ghost. Woo! Drifted away at the end there. I only just worked out now you can play a backing track on phone while recording the video. Yes, exactly. You can. And you'll see that. So do you want to see a little bit of the footage? Some found footage. So I went digging and I found the original footage of all of the different recordings that I did. So let's show you the guitar ones first. So the first video that I shot was this one here. We'll just open it with the old QuickTime player and bring it up over on my screen. And I'll give you my thoughts and my commentary on this as we go through, because it's there it is. There's the couch. And if we'll hit play on this, we'll bring the volume up. I haven't watched all these in full. So there's me fiddling with the camera, clunking about. Camera's on a tripod. I got the guitar. I walk around. Now, what you can't see in this is that I've got my iPad. Oh, the sound went away. Oh, it stopped playing. Oh, there I am. All right, so you can hear me put my iPad down in the corner, just out of shot. And then I'm going to come and sit. just playing. All right, we're ready. I was using a digital SLR, so I had the screen, and that's me staring at it, making sure. And I wanted to make sure that the line that went between the couch and that first chair, I wasn't going to cross that, because that's the magic of it all, is that it's 4 slices, basically. So I had to make sure that I wasn't going to be over the spot. So that's why I'm playing the guitars in kind of a weird way, with the neck pointing upwards. So now I'm over in the corner here. I've got the iPad, and I'm queuing up the song, because I'm going to be playing along to it. You'll hear me. Can hear that? So what that was is I had 3 bars of just a metronome going click, 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 click. So I was able to put the iPad down, sit down, do the little walk across, and then start playing. You can hear me actually playing it. Now, one thing that annoyed the crap out of me, because I was new to using the DSLR, you can see there I did not have my focus set. So this was the joy of not having a camera person. I couldn't get the focus. Like I didn't spend the time to get the focus set to start with. So I'm going in and out of focus and wobbling, which bugs me to this day, but it is what it is. And then towards the end here, playing the outro, which sounds an awful lot like Wonder Boy by Tenacious D. And then I get up and make sure I walk that way, because I couldn't walk across because the imaginary line was in the middle there. So that was the first take, the first bit of footage that I recorded. I then did the other guitar. I'll just show you this really quickly, just so that we're not doing this for the rest of the show. But I just thought it was interesting for me, and I know many folks have asked about this in the past. I thought it would be something fun to look at. So this time, I'm over here. So I'm doing the same thing. You can hear the iPad again, except it's just off screen to the right, and I enter from the right. Start playing. I don't think I'm playing the right chord, but true professional, I just keep going. And same sort of deal. I walk off and everything's good. Now, the problem came when I went to do the vocals, and I realized that I wanted the vocal guy to walk off, but he couldn't walk off because he had the other guy in the way. So that's why when I did the vocal, I'll just find the backing vocal. This one here, this bloke. Let's load up this file. There we go. So these are big DSLR files, so they're very large, and they were stored on my backups. So, and you can kind of see me thinking about it towards the end here, where I'm like, oh. So in hindsight, I don't know what I could have done, like walked forwards and slid under the camera or something. But this shows you the behind the scenes. This is the wizard in the back of the machine here. And yes, I did have 4 different shirts so that I could have costume changes. And you can hear that I had that metronome, that click, clock, clock. I created that manually so that I could really hear the rhythm, because I knew the song and I was playing along with the song. But yeah, when I went to the editing stage, I'm like, I can't do that. That's why that bloke dissolves and it just cuts back to a shot of the actual one there. So you know what? It was fun. Yeah, that's the thing. I should have just brought the sofa out, and that guy could have just crawled over the top of the sofa and gone behind. So yes, we'll maybe redo that, and I'll do a different version of it. But yeah, the couch, the lounge room, all looks very much the same as well. I could have walked towards the camera and faded out as well. Music video of the year. It was fun. It was a good fun time to do. All right. we're now going to dive in and jive in to the second half. So when we left off, we're about 2019. I'm enjoying this. I'm creating music. It's like a side hustle kind of gig for me. It's starting to actually, make some money because I'm getting enough views from my picking out your headphone jack to actually get paid by YouTube, which is cool. And I started doing a lot more sort of songwriting and creating. So I did the album, and then I continued creating more music. And I started a little thing called Songtember, which started in 2019. We've did it 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we've had 5 years of Songtember. And that was our Song in a Month challenge. Many of you have participated in it. If you haven't, if you don't know what that means, hang around because we'll be doing it in 2025. Songtember is only like 7 months away, folks. It's March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Seriously, it's gonna be here before you know it. And I think we will need Songtember in 2025 more than any other year. So I released my album in 2018, and I was contacted by someone, this person called Jade, and I was like, "Who's this Jade that's sliding into my Facebook DMs?" And she says to me, she says, I really liked your album, and I found your videos when I was looking for something, and I wrote a review of your album on the Apple Store on iTunes." And I'm like, "Oh, really? That's cool." And then I went and read it, and it was the most in-depth and glowing review that I've ever come across. Is it still there? Shall we have a look? I'm going to see if I can find it. Surely these things don't go away. Like the things that I've commented on that I don't want to be there are still there, so I'm sure it's probably there. Maybe I'll embarrass Jade later and see if we can find it. But yeah, so this Jade character. And Jay was part of the Facebook groups as well. So, Facebook, the GarageBand users group. I created around that time my own Facebook group called the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. Jay was part of that. I later reluctantly asked her to moderate that group, which she's been doing since. And she had a knack for being able to help people out. So, people would ask questions in these groups, in my chat, in the Facebook groups, and they would ask questions about things, and Jay would always have a solution for them. And she'd spent all this time like writing out detailed descriptions or creating little diagrams or creating little videos. And I said to her, I said, "You need to just make a channel. Like just start sharing this stuff." I said, "Look, this is all I did. People kept like I realized that people weren't making videos about things. And instead of answering the same question 15 times, why don't you just make your own channel, share the video, and then just link to the video?" I've been doing it for like 3 years, and it's easy. It's much easier than having to recreate the same thing over and over again or tell the same people the same thing over and over again. So she did. Originally, she started doing videos that were little just screen records and showing things. She then started doing her 20-minute app reviews, which were 20 minutes for about the first month until they weren't, until they were about an hour long. And eventually it became How to App on iOS and the Jade Star Music channel that you know today. So, yes, I don't need to tell you guys much about Jade Star because, yeah, most of you know Jade's hard work and effort that she puts into doing videos almost every day. And since then, she's done walk with me's and she's moderated this channel. She's, as I mentioned, moderated the Facebook groups. We've collaborated on a bunch of things. She plays drums on my songs. I'm on her channel at least every few months having a rant, and it's where I swear. So if you've never heard me swear, if you've only ever watched me on Studio Live today, I drop the F bomb from time to time. It's funnily enough, I told Jade early on, I'm like, "Yeah, you got two choices here, Jade. You can clean up your language a bit and get more views, or you can keep doing what you're doing and get less views and possibly get your videos demonetized." And she's like, "All right, point taken." I don't know. I reckon there's 20 to 30% less swearing now. She's got the beep button now on her board, so she beeps herself out manually. Yes, the 20 minutes. It didn't last. It didn't last. But go and check out Jade and all of her things. I know I'm an absolute rebel. Yep, go to Jade's channel if you like some good swearing. And that's the thing that I said. I'm like, I give you this advice as your friend and as someone who knows how the algorithm and knows how things work. There are people that will be put off by how you do things and what you do, just as there are me and how I do things and what I do. But also the robots that run YouTube won't love what you do and what you say at times. So you be you, you do you. And it's kind of the way it is. We build these little, our McMansions are built on this borrowed land. So it is YouTube and Google and Alphabet and Amazon and Meta and all these companies that ultimately tell us what to do. And you can say freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of action doesn't really count when it's a private company that are giving you all these resources for free. You play by their rules or you kind of suffer the consequences. So it wasn't a bad thing. But I think, yeah, Jade found her happy place, her happy medium, somewhere between complete anarchy and complete totying, which I think is a good thing that all of us should try to do as well. Hello to Amelia. Amelia, who is, I call her Bride of Christ, just jokingly. Sorry, Amelia, if you hate that, tell me and I won't say it again. But Amelia is the wonderful wife of Thomas Christ. And it's often our friends and our partners and our families that are the reason that we can keep doing this. Act your shoe size, not your age. Yeah, well, look, I'm 10 and a half. My channel's nearly my shoe size. So g'day to you, Rusco. Russ 8889. Yeah, and look, authenticity is absolutely important because if you don't want to be authentic, and if you're sharing your true self, then you might as well just be a corporate shill at the end of the day. Like the reason when people say to me, "Oh, you need to expand your channel and you need to grow your channel, you need to get editors on board and get social media marketing and sell courses and have a team of people that work for you offshore and blah 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 blah," I'm like, that sounds like my old job. That sounds like what I left to be completely independent, creative, and enjoy what I do. Why would I want to complexify everything back to the point where I'm a manager again? I've done that. I've been there. I've done that. I don't want that. I want to be able to just do what I do. G'day to Alexander. No, Crow des Alexander. Thanks for being here. Paws and Guitars is here as well. G'day to you. Thank you, Al Davis. Yeah, go check out Selfish Aware. Because it's through DistroKid, you can get it everywhere. Selfish Aware is everywhere. So let's move on from there. So around about that same time, this bloke called Thomas kept rocking up on my shows. So I was doing pretty frequent regular live streams by then, as well as tutorial videos, and this Thomas bloke kept rocking up on the Facebook and on the YouTube channel, and he seemed to be making a lot of music. And he said something about I've made 15 albums, and I'm like, really? And I went and checked it out, and he wasn't actually lying because so many people on YouTube say I made 15 albums, and you go and look at it, and they really haven't. So I'm like, who is this guy, and what's he doing? And his name was Thomas. And he went by a different name at the time. And it was only around 2020 that Jade and myself sat him down and said, you've got these two personas, Thomas. You've got your person who moderates on our channel, because by that point he'd stuck around so long that we're like, oh, you, moderate. And he's like, okay. So he started being the moderator extraordinaire that he still is to this day. And again, same sort of deal. Jade and I sort of did the same peer pressure thing that I did to Jade years before, positive peer pressure, and said, dude, you got too much. You got too much talent. You got too much knowledge to not be doing this, to not do some more YouTube stuff. So, yeah, Thomas started creating more videos for his own music and sharing that, which was awesome. I still love jumping ahead a bit, but 2020, the video for Mask is still one of my favorite things of all time to watch. And yeah, he started sharing a lot more. And of course, it's Mr. Thomas Christ, who is continuing to crush it. He now has his own show called You Rock, where he showcases your music. He does his Thomas Christ Live. He shares some behind-the-scenes stuff from time to time. He's a moderator extraordinaire, the link slinger himself, and his music is epic. And most importantly, on top of all of that, he's like one of the nicest, most genuine people that you're ever going to meet. Like, there's people online, right? There's people online that are cool people that create cool music, but they've got a bit of an ego, or they've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder, or they aren't always consistently supportive. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how he does it, but Thomas Christ is one of the most consistently supportive people. Like, you couldn't even imagine words coming. Look, I know Amelia's just there chuckling to herself, I'm sure, but you couldn't really imagine him going on social media and just spraying everyone, or getting really aggressive and having a big tantrum in a group. It just doesn't happen. And I'm sure he probably wants to, like most of us. But yeah, to have the resilience and to have the ability to just be kind and generous to everyone all the time is pretty good. And yeah, he does. He lets his songs and he lets his lyrics do the talking, which is a good thing to do, right? Yes, we made you resurrect Thomas Christ. Yeah, yeah, and that was the thing. You were being your true self. You were being Thomas, and then you were Thomas Christ. Hello, Angela Sinclair. Yes, good. I'm glad. Tap tap tap. The Facebook thing is on over there as well. Hello, Angela. Thanks for tuning in and saying Angela and Bleeding Red Beats. Who you'd be aware are on the happy hour. We'll be talking happy hour in just a jiffy, because that's a thing. How are we going? I was going to do this for an hour. We're going to go about an hour and a half, I think, folks, because we had too many kind people saying kind things and too many great comments that we needed to talk about here. So let's move on and continue doing stuff here. A little company by the name of DistroKid came along. I used DistroKid and I made a bunch of DistroKid videos. And here's the tip for you. Tip for young players. If you want to work with a company, start working for the company, and then hopefully they'll see what you're doing and they'll ask you to do stuff for them. So I'd made about 20 videos about my journey, about my process of releasing music on DistroKid. And I was honest and I told the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I put all these videos out there on YouTube. And then one day I get an email from a guy and he's like, hey, we've noticed that you use DistroKid. Would you like to make some videos for us, some sponsored content? And I'm like, I make them anyway. I'd be silly not to. So I did, made a few videos. The rest is history. I then got very cheeky and said, hey, I got this idea for a new show called Your Music Live where I play people's music. It might be a great fit because these are people that are independent creators. They're currently sharing on YouTube and SoundCloud and places. They're prime candidates for being DistroKid customers. I see a match made in heaven. And they said, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, we'll give it a go. And 3.5 years later, they are still the major sponsors of this channel and of the Your Music Live show. And there's my latest release there, Learn, which you heard at the top of the show, me seeing that one. So DistroKid, huge thank you to them. I've put Apple in here because around that time, around 2019, I also got another email which I had to read 3 times before I realized it wasn't a scam email, because what you'll know if you do this sort of thing, if you do the YouTube thing, you do get a lot of scam emails. You do get a lot of people pretending to be people. And I'd had people pretending to be Apple before. But then when I checked it, and I checked it again, and I checked the TSS or TLS, whatever it is, the security on the email, and I fact checked it. I think I even went onto LinkedIn to make sure that this person existed and actually worked for Apple. And yeah, they said, hey, we would like you to, we'd like to send you a new thing. And I'm like, okay, if that's a thing, I didn't even know that was a thing that happened. So yeah, and then when Logic Pro for iPad came out, I managed to get early access to that. I've been able to get access to like the latest iPads and share information with you folks. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The reason I mention these 2 companies, you're thinking, Pete, you're mentioning all these great people, and then you're mentioning companies. Well, the reason is that these are the companies that I have chosen to work with because they've shown trust and faith in me. There's been plenty of companies that have come to me and said, we want you to do this, 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 and this. And we're going to have editorial control. And we're going to send you this product. But when you're done, you've got to send it back. And it's like, no, I don't work with you in that case. So the companies I've worked with, like DistroKid and Apple and IK Multimedia are another. So I've done a lot of videos on iRig products and IK Multimedia products. BandLab is another one. So anyone that you see that's a sponsor of this show, could I make more money if there were NordVPN ads right now? Yeah. Could I get better health or one of those meal box things? Yes, I could. But is it relevant? Is it going to help you create, record, and release your best music? No. So I stick to companies that actually support the same things, same morals and ethics that I have. Thank you. G'day, Joel Crouch. Thank you, Tremor Bear. Appreciate you, my friend. Tremor Bear is awesome. Tremor Bear's been around the community a couple of years now. Hello, Bleeding Red Beats as well. I did mention Angela and Bleeding Red Beats as well there. Sunday is Amelia's day. She gets peace when when Tom kills his voice. Yeah, she gets a peaceful day the day after. Uh, Thank you again. I appreciate you. I don't have my phone with me, so I can't check the PayPal. But if anyone would like to donate, you can donate via. I'll check my emails in a sec. You can donate via the PayPal, or you can donate right here via the super chats that we've got going on. Oh, and look at that. Speaking of wonderful people, Mark Bro. Mark Bro has been around since before this time, around about that time. He's a Create Record Release member. He's a founding Patreon, founding channel member, and is now helping other folks by giving free memberships out as well. So thank you so much to you, Mark Bro. It would not be a show without you. We appreciate you big time. So, where were we up to? So we're around about the 2020 mark, and a thing happened around 2020. Jade calls it the inconvenience. I call it the C word. But this thing happened, and 2020 was honestly a whirlwind because at that time I was still doing full-time work and I was still doing almost full-time YouTube. But by that point, I was doing so many tutorials and live streams and other things that I was doing a 40-hour work week and I was doing about a 40-hour YouTube week as well. So it was kind of draining, but I loved it so much. And my goal then was to get it to the point where it would be a full-time gig. But to start with, I just wanted to do like the side hustle thing to be supportive and to be able to support my family. So 2020 happened, the inconvenience happened. I started doing a little show called The Happy Hour, which was absolutely cathartic. And I think some folk, many of you, sort of came on board around that time and still like hanging out and listening to some tunes and just having a bit of fun and just messing about, playing some music. It turned out that Jade Starr wanted to jump in on that bandwagon and she started doing the opening hour. Thomas Christ does a live show there, Brad Example from time to time. So we've created this thing where Saturday nights or Sunday afternoons here in Australia, mornings and afternoons, we play music and we just celebrate it. And it was sort of, I didn't really talk about Your Music Live that much apart from the DistroKid stuff, but that's kind of, that completed the trilogy for me, is that I wanted Create, Record, Release was like creating. All right, I want to show the process of creating. I did these song in a month challenges that eventually led to Songtember, and I also show through my tutorials. I use real examples in my own real songs. So that's kind of how the creation stuff. Recording, same sort of deal. I wanted to be able to show people how to actually do the physical recording, what gear you need, what software you need, how to physically actually do it. And then the releasing, well, that was sort of the Your Music Live. That was showcasing what people can actually do and hopefully encouraging and motivating people and showing them that anyone can do this stuff, that if I can do it, you can too. So that was kind of the complete picture. But then I realized I wanted to have some fun too. And I wasn't playing enough. I wasn't just learning songs and doing the happy hour. So in March of 2020, I've told this a bunch of times, but I was on a cruise. It got turned around because of the pandemic. And then I started doing this weekly live show. And I started by playing cover songs, a few of my own songs. I would learn a few songs each week and add them to my repertoire. And over the space of the last 5 years, I've now got a repertoire of about 300 songs that I can play. And it's really, really cool because it's just enjoyable and you learn a lot about the song structure. You learn about what other people are doing with their songs. I learned about keys and about what key I can sing in and how to transpose things. So even though it was purely for entertainment and to help folks get through this thing, because the thing kept going for so long, so did the happy hour. And it got kind of to the point where everyone started going back outside again. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing the happy hour. So I did. And again, the rest is history. I put this logo up here because around about that time as well, this app called Clubhouse came out. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of the fine folks who hung out and to this very day hang out on Clubhouse. I only get there once every few weeks these days. But I actually introduced Jade to Clubhouse. So again, I'm the gateway drug. I know, naughty me. And Jade, Russ, Dave, Ali, Leela, Ed, Thomas from time to time, people I'm forgetting, Brad, all now have this wonderful little sub community where they hang out. They're probably hanging out in Clubhouse right now talking about me, going, Russ would be like, why is Pete always wearing that hat? He looks like a git. He would never say that. But I like doing my Russ because it's terrible. I do a terrible Russ. My accents are terrible. I've been banned from doing accents, but I still do them anyway. Then we sort of moved on from there. 2020, 2021, 2022, all kind of feels like a blur. Kind of forgot everything that happened, but but I know I was doing all these things. Your Music Live went from strength to strength. Happy Hour was fun. I was putting out tutorials. We were doing song timbers, and it was ticking along. The other thing that happened though is in September of 2020, my employer said, "I'm sorry, Johns, we got to let you go." And I was like, "Oh no, woohoo! What will I ever do? Woohoo!" So yeah, it was made redundant in September of 2020. And look, I didn't dislike my job. It wasn't my passion, and it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was considering that as soon as I got to the point where I could do this full time, and I can only do this full time thanks to you. So you, yes, you folks, everyone who hits the like button and shares and watches and donates and is a member and is a patron, it is. It's all about you. Because without you, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. I'd probably still do it, but it wouldn't be quite as I wouldn't be able to pay the bills and support my family. If I didn't. So yeah, so we're ticking along and through 2022, 23, 24, and into 25. And I guess it's weird because more recently, I've kind of hit a flow, and there's been a few little things that I've tried. I had the podcast, I had the Creator Town Hall for a while. I'm doing different things at different times, but I kind of found my core. And after sort of dabbling in different things from time to time, I kind of found my happy place, which is to do a few live shows every week and then to do a few tutorials as well. So that's where we are now in 2025. 100 and nearly 50,000 people have subscribed, and I don't take that lightly. That's a stadium and a big, that's an MCG and a half, which is massive. And look, yeah, people say, well, you've got 150,000 people. Why don't you get hundreds and thousands of people to your live streams? Really doesn't work that way with the sort of things I do because my stuff is more evergreen. So a lot of people will come, they'll get the information they need, they'll watch one or two videos, they'll subscribe because they think that's what you should do to support people on YouTube, and then they may never watch again, which is cool. It's okay. But it just means you got to take it with a grain of salt. Do I use that 150,000 number when a company or someone that wants to work with me wants to see if I'm worthy? Of course I do. I'm not silly, but it's not actually all it means. And people think that YouTube is about the numbers, the vanity metrics, the subscribers, the views. It kind of is, but it's more about engagement. It's about how you engage with people either through live interactions like we're doing right now, or how do you engage them in the content that you're putting out there. And I've learned over time, if you watch the early stuff that I did, I've learned over time how to change things up a little bit. And I thought that would be a nice little segue to jump in and check out some classic Studio Live today from 8 years ago. This one is from the 15th of March, 2016. So nearly 9 years ago. This is one of the first videos I ever created. The first few I've played last time we did this on the 8-year anniversary, which were the music memos videos. This is the first time I put my face out there. And it's pretty cringy. And I thought you might enjoy watching it with me here today. So let's jump in. There's the old Studio Live Today intro that many of you know and love. And what am I doing here? Let's give it a spin. Hey, Pete here for Studio Live Today, and in today's iPhone GarageBand Quick Tip, we're going to be looking at how we can use the effects with effects controls within GarageBand for iPhone to adjust our track. So let's jump in and have a look. So we've got here a very simple little track that's just got 3 tracks here, and it's just using some Apple loops. So let's play this one. All right, so, and what we'll do is we'll go in and have a look, and we'll use this track to show you how we can use and adjust the effects here in GarageBand for iPhone. The first thing we want to do is slide out our little volume controller, and from here we can adjust anything with our volume, and we can mute and solo tracks. But what we actually want to do here is go to the start of this flute track. We'll just slide that across and select our flute track, and then the settings icon up here, the little cog will jump us into our settings. So you'll see that this replicates the mute, solo, and track volume, and also adds the track panning. So if you want to know how to work all those, you can check out the video that we have on adjusting those settings. But what we're going to be looking at in this video is the additional effects settings that we have here. So you'll notice that we have the ability to add echo, reverb, adjust the treble up and down, and adjust the bass up and down. And we also have a compressor on here. So we've got 5 different types of effects that we can actually add independently to each track. So I'm muted. Sorry. Thank you, Doug Kidder. I appreciate you, and thank you everyone else. So, sorry, I was muting myself before. What I was saying just then is I had to turn the volume all the way up there. It was all on the left. The camera angle is dreadful. The camera I was using there, you can see it sitting on the rig there. It's an iPhone 4S using like a dodgy Kmart Gorilla Pod on a very crappy $20 eBay mic stand. I had none of the gear. I had very little of the know-how, but I was sharing it, and enough people thought this was cool and good because it was the only thing out there. I was the only game in town. No one else was showing GarageBand on the iPhone. And I also love the fact that GarageBand on the iPhone was, yeah, how good are those curtains? I also love the fact that GarageBand on the iPhone only had, like, this is what it had originally. It only had echo, reverb, treble, bass, and compressor. You didn't have any of them. I still have those brown drapes. They're over there. I know they're delightful. Yeah, so it was very basic, and people still use these sounds to this day, especially that
Yeah, you're
jazz
not gonna put
hustle
that much
flute.
reverb on any track, especially a
No retake, just yeah. And again, when I look back at this sort of stuff, I say to myself, yeah, what I did is I got on and did it, and I learnt as I went. And this is the thing. I was watching Jade's interview today, and she said she asked a question at the end of everything. It's like, when should people start making music? And you know, it's a leading question. It's almost rhetorical. People say, right now, you should get in and make music right now, and people do. Um, but yeah, it just goes to show that if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to start a health routine, if you want to start writing a novel, guess what? Start writing it. Oh, but I don't have the right. It's too bad. Just start writing. Oh, but my sneakers are old and have holes in them. Guess what? You run in old holy sneakers. Oh, but I don't have all the gear that I need in my home studio to record. Have you got an iPhone? Got a smartphone? Start recording. Stop making excuses and start recording. So I say all that to say, I still do make excuses and I still do procrastinate doing things. How long have I been saying I need to go out and do some open mics? Have I done it yet? No. Busking, I've always wanted to do that. Have I done it? No. So there's still some things that I'm a little fearful of that I don't do. And exactly what Jay says here. The what was it? What's that thing? It's like something is the thing of something. Where you don't have a lot of stuff. Invention is the invention of something. I don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah. So there's opportunities to do things, and it's worth just trying them. Just get in there and do it. Yes, and I did. I did a course. I completely forgot that I did a whole course that I sold for $10, which Russ bought and used and promoted for me. I reckon I sold about 100 of them, Russ, and I reckon 50 of them were people that you recommended it to. Yeah, I want to procrastinate. I'll start tomorrow. Necessity is the mother of invention. Thank you, Stay Tuned. This is why I do these things live so that I can actually get some answers from you folks to things that I don't know the answers to myself. Righty. So, yeah, I think you can still get the course. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check up on that. I'll check it. I hope you can. I haven't checked it in a while. I haven't sold many for a while, so I haven't actually checked them. Um, Look, there's other links in there. I won't go into the detail here because we're already running long, but you can check the links to see other things that I've done in the past. The first episode of the feedback loop is there. The first post I put on YouTube with my studio and my children taking over the studio there. My first ever Q&A, the first time I did a fully interactive live stream like the one I'm doing right here, right now, and the first short video I did. So over the years, there were lots of things that I was able to do and add in to the mix, which was all good. Thank you, folks. I'm going to finish off with sharing a few little things here that are hopefully just going to summarize all the things that I've done and where we're at with the channel. So I am going to run one small ad and then we are going to finish off with that. So yeah, thank you for your patience. If you'd like to watch this wonderful ad for, I'm going to say Masterclass. So there you go. You have seen the ad. The ad is running. If you have YouTube Premium, you won't see an ad and you'll be getting nothing. Exactly. I'm like fine wine, only getting better with age. At least that's what I go with. Yeah, well, look, that's the thing, isn't it? Like everyone starts at zero. We're all just a work in progress. Other cliches, all of them. So yeah, it's all good in the hood. So let's finish up here. I hope you enjoyed the little trip down memory lane, a little bit of nostalgia. Yeah, Think Media with Sean. I watched a lot of Sean Cannell early on, and then I realised that I'd heard him say the same thing over and over again. But I kind of also learnt that different people come in at different times. So I'd had enough of his teaching because I knew everything he had to say. But he had to keep saying it because what's he going to do? Start saying different things? And what am I going to do? Like people say, oh, you've been saying the same thing. And I have. I watched the live stream with Mike talking about DAWs and like, should you change your door? And I said the same thing then that I say now, is that it's not about what door you use. It's not about the gear you use. It's about being comfortable and making your best music. So what have I learned? What did I want to do when I started? I wanted to learn GarageBand. And that really was the impetus for me doing this. I couldn't find anyone else teaching GarageBand in the way that I wanted to learn it. So I saw a gap in the market, so to speak. And I wanted to make really simple, really basic tutorials. And from the day dot, I thought to myself, end goal here is if someone types GarageBand thing into YouTube, I want them to find one of my videos. I want to completely cover every single topic and I want to do it in an efficient way. Now, those early videos are not efficient. People say, why are you redoing these videos all the time? The early videos were 15 minutes and unedited. The next round of videos were 10 minutes and slightly edited, but still pretty crusty with lots of additional ums and ahs and extra words. The videos I'm doing now are 5 minutes and they've got as much information, but they've just got the information you need. They're like, in this video, we're doing this, step 1, this, step 2, this. So over the years, I've learnt what people have said to me based on the feedback in the comments because I've read every single comment that has been put on my channel, good, bad, or otherwise. I wanted to encourage others to start making music. So the create, record, release mentality was there from early on because I liked that. I was a team leader. I was a manager. I was a mentor in the corporate world. And that was what I enjoyed most about my job. And I thought to myself, if I can do that, but for music, I've got it made. I'm not going to be the best musician. I'm not going to be a rock star. I'm not going to create a gold platinum selling single, but I might help someone do it one day. That's the aim. I wanted to show that anyone can do it, both through music, but also YouTube. So I wanted to show that, hey, if this goofy looking bloke in Adelaide can get in front of a camera or can shoot really dodgy video with his iPhone 4S that's on a shaky tripod and still put it out there and still be good enough to get a message across, then anyone can do it. I wanted to create a side income. I'm not afraid to say that. Creativity and money, a lot of people don't like putting those things together. And look, has it taken me nearly a decade to get comfortable with saying things like, hey, your donations are welcome and appreciated, and hey, join the YouTube, and hey, join the Patreon. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do, but I've made my peace with it because I think I add value. And I think if people find value in what I do and they want to support me for it, it's win-win at the end of the day. Hello to, who did I see there that has dropped on in? Alan Muirhead. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your. What was next? And I wanted to do music-related stuff full-time. So ultimately, I wanted to do what I do right now. And I do. I was talking to a mate and I said, about once every month, I go on a gratitude walk. And what does that involve? Well, it involves walking in the area I used to walk at lunch. So I worked in an office here in Adelaide, and at lunch breaks, I'd go out and walk around, and I'd basically fantasize about having the freedom to do what I was doing part time in my spare time as a full time job. And again, in the future, here I am, and it exists. And it's not a the secret wish it and it comes true. None of that bollocks. It's I wanted a thing and I worked my ass off to work hard at it in my spare time, getting up at 5 a.m. to do videos, staying up till midnight to do videos, burning the candle at both ends from time to time, yeah. Spending my lunch breaks writing scripts for videos, just so that I could get to this point one day. So again, it's not about the whole, oh yeah, if you wish it into existence, it will happen. I don't believe in that. I think that's bollocks. But hard work and determination and resilience is key. I actually spoke to Bobby Osinski, who is absolute legend in the world of music production, and he did lots of talking and speeches on YouTube. And I actually sent him an email just out of the blue. I said, Bobby, I really loved whatever video it was that you did, and I've got a question for you. Like, what's the one thing you think that you've seen over the years, the quality that people that are successful share? And he said, it's resilience. It's the ability to keep going. It's the ability to get up and do it again after you've done it and it's not worked. So people that can fail, learn from their failures, and then implement them better the next time, as opposed to people like no one's perfect all the time. And he said he would rather, if he's working in a studio, he would rather someone that will stay, will get it done, is reliable over the best player. He said some of the best players that I've worked with are absolute dicks and are unreliable and come in and think they're the best thing ever and arrogant and like, yeah, yes, they're good, but he'll work with a player who just shows up, does their thing, learns from it, keeps improving. And that kind of sculpted what I do from then to here. Yeah. All righty. Let's see. What do I want to do in the future? So where to from here? I want to help more people make music, especially younger folks. I've been thinking for a long time about how I can actually make an impact on my own community here. And as we've seen in recent times, a lot more schools, a lot more young folks are using iPads and using iPhones, which is great. And what I really want to do is I want to turn that time that they spend doom scrolling TikTok and Instagram into doom scrolling for Apple loops and cool effects and plugins that they can throw in and that they can create something and show them how easy it is to be creative and create your own music. So I don't know the logistics of how I do that, but there's a few irons in the fire that hopefully will work out. I want to show that you don't need to spend a fortune. I want to continue pushing pushing against the let's spend thousands of dollars to make a studio before you start recording, and that you can do it. You can do it now on a budget better than ever. So I want to start doing more videos about I'm going to buy a $50 mic and a $50 interface and record a song and just show how that can be done. I want to go back to the sort of basics and just prove it, proof in the pudding, not say it, not just keep saying it, but actually show it. I want to play more music in public. I've dusted off my Roland Cube amp. I'm in the market for a new MacBook, and I want to get outside. I'm going to start in my own backyard, but then I want to start. For a while there, I was doing gigs, like doing my happy hour at the beach and at mum and dad's house and other places. And because I don't have a good laptop, I don't really have a portable setup at the moment. But I can do it, and I'm going to do it in 2025. I want to collaborate with more cool people. So I have been collaborating. But yeah, you heard that song at the start that had Jade Starr on drums and that had Mars Capone on bass. That amazing bass that's in the song "Learn" is Mars Capone. So I want to work with more cool people and say considered yeses a little more often. I've been saying no to protect my time and to protect my reputation. I've been saying a lot of no. I want to find some yeses. Not say yes to every opportunity that comes up, but find some good yeses. And I want to, most importantly, I want to promote diversity. I want to promote equality. I want to promote inclusion in music. I want to show that it doesn't matter if you are vision impaired. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your religious preference is. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you fall upon. If you are a kind person, you're welcome here. And you're welcome to all the information I have. You're welcome to share with the community. You're welcome. And I think in a time where so many people are feeling unwelcomed in so many places, I just want to create an environment where everyone's welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to be here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me here today. It is an absolute honor, privilege, pleasure, whatever other superlative you want to throw in there, that I get to do this and that I get to hang out with kind folks like you all the time. All righty, let's say thank you to all the folks who have been here. Firstly, those who've donated, thank you so much to Rock and Pneumonia, to Eric B. Thank you, Mark Bro, for being a member for so long and for throwing 5 memberships out there to the community. Thank you to Thomas Christ. Thanks to Gary Hubbs. Mike and Dawn, the 5 + 2 + 2 = 9. Thank you very much for your kindness. Trevor Bear there. There's Mark Bro. Hey, it's Brad Example. He's been a founding member here on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you to you, Brad. G'day, Emilio. Thank you. Yes, group hug. Why not? Absolutely. Thank you to Mike and Dawn Janice, Doug Kidder, Joel Crouch, Sylvie Drapeau, who Mr. Thomas Christ. Yes, I already talked Thomas up. He's probably already feeling too humbled by my kind words before, because he's not a seeker of those kind words. He's humble, and that's what that's what makes him gel with me so much. Because arrogance is probably my least favorite trait. I mean, not confidence is fine, but unfounded arrogance is definitely no good. Phil Gone, I saw dropped in there. Moo to you, Semtex, Cal. G'day, Costa over there in Melbourne. Sorry, Melbourne. Melbourne, we'd say it. Russ, 8889. Jade Star. I'm just clicking buttons now. Les Corox. Ed Z, who loved my curtains as well. Doug Kidder, who haven't I got here? Crow Des Alexander. If I've missed you, I apologize. It doesn't mean I don't love you. There's Thomas Christ, also a founding member. Yeah, look, let's do another 9 years of it, shall we? And again, we stroll down memory lane not to look back on things and say, oh, wasn't it better then? Wasn't it good? Wasn't it great? But to learn, hey, it's Steve. It's Whimsical Steve from the UK. Get out of you. But we look back to, I wrote a song about this. I wrote a song called New Day, which says exactly what I want. It's like we want to take the best of what we had and make a new day. So you should be looking back, not to go, let's change things back to exactly the way they were before, but let's look back, identify our mistakes, identify the things that we could do better, and then improve upon it. There's nothing wrong with looking back. Nostalgia is good, but sometimes we have our rose-colored glasses on. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to hit the like button if you haven't already, I would appreciate you greatly. Thanks you to everyone who has already done that. It tells the YouTube robots to go tell the other robots to go tell people to watch. To everyone that's watched here live, thank you. You're all excellent. You are the lifeblood of this community. To the replay crew, I know that for our UK and European and Asian folks, this isn't a great time for you. So if you're watching this one on the replay, shout out to you. Leave me a comment down below if there's anything you'd like to say or you'd like to ask me. And what have we been saying for nigh on 9 years at the end of all these shows? Well, we've said a little thing like this. It goes something like, be kind to yourself, folks. Be kind to others. Keep creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.